tone to your perspective on life, your attitude towards life, your discipline, your self-discipline, and it's the rest of your life. It's your future, and it's a big deal.
In fact, I would come in, and the whole thing is what you are saying is so true, because in life you cannot be a spectator in your own life.
Absolutely.
You cannot expect things to happen. There are many people who have a victim mentality, blame everyone else. But you got to take ownership. You got to say, it's my life. I need to invest in my time. If I don't do that, no one else is going to do that. And for the matricians, this is a case in point, They need to, this is an important part of their life, but we do not want to over-exaggerate it.
That's also
We don't want
true.
it to know like it's hell and doom. And this is it, after this, if you come down the examination, your life is going to be
It's finished now for you.
We need to have a perspective on it.
True.
Because, the critical thing is this, more and more, we look at how the landscape has changed, that even schooling and university education has now gone a bit in the backwaters, as it were. It's more about your own creativity. It's about your own resourcefulness and all that,
No, for sure. Now, somebody like yourself, Sumaya, you've been doing shows year after year for so many years, and you've hosted these students, the ones with the 10As and the 8As and the 9As. You've spoken to the heads of departments of education and different schools. Principals have been here in the studio with you as well. How important is that build-up to matric? Because it starts from grade 11. The grade 11s from this year are already gearing up for next year. That workload has already started. How important is it, and what is the value of that matric and a senior certificate?
To look at it realistically, Salma, it basically starts, I think, from the time you're in school, where you learn to be, we create independence, the learner to be responsible, taking ownership, making the sacrifices, simple thing like homework. And then once when you get into high school, automatically now your teacher's not going to chase you and phone mommy and say homework's not done, child's misbehaving. It's pass, fail. But again, no one's allowed to fail. You have to be pushed up. And then when they come into I think grade 10, when they choose their subjects, that's when I think it gets to them. Okay, I'm choosing the science course or this commercial course, and now I got to study. And I think that's also when it hits parents. Now I'm paying this whole amount of school fees, or even I'm sending my child for tuition and I'm paying so much. They need, to study and pass. But again, it depends a lot on the individual, because we have children who are very laid back, relaxed. They have all the resources, the material, everything, but they're just not motivated, or they'll say, no, when time gets near, we will study. And then you have the child who is stressing from grade 10 to study. And they're so serious. Sometimes when we meet them in studio, I get scared because I feel I'm not doing my work as an educator. And you know what we also need to take, I think you'll agree with me, not everyone is cut out for academics. Not everyone. Imagine if everyone was lawyers, teachers, doctors, engineers. We'd
have no radio presenters.
Well, if you think about it, the skills, all the skills, we won't have any skills, right? From a plumber to electrician. But you know what? These professions are so much now.
No, in fact, there are few critical points that you raised. The one is, I think our schools have become too academic. It's more the cognitive, the mind, and therefore you find more and more people are more inclined in helping people develop other skills, so they can become employable. That's one level. The second important issue, and this is a very, very critical issue, today many schools, because they are competing, they want to be in the media, competing for top results, they are almost force-feeding the children in terms of doing that, and kids are spewing it out. And I'm not suggesting, or I'm not being dismissive about the good results, but academic results on its own is not an indicator of real success. We need to understand that. If we need to teach people, young boys and girls, we should ask ourselves, what should be the attributes when they leave school?
That's it.
What should be the attributes? And I would say the attributes, he must be a young person who has a sense of responsibility. He has high self-esteem. He's emotionally intelligent. He's creative.
Wow.
He's confident and articulate. He's able. He must know, for example, when he's on the path of truth, right? If the rest of the world is not he's on the side of the majority. So these things are fundamentally important. So I think in the end, it comes from a home, because parents are the first educators, right? They need to give them perspectives, and I think it's important. And I understand that parents are going through all kinds of challenges at this day, but I think there is a huge disconnect between kids and parents. Kids are living in a world of anxiety, stress. The kids are living a world of fantasy, and we need to bridge that gap, because in the end there is a generational misunderstanding, and as a result it can be very, very problematic.
Absolutely. If you wish to contribute to the program at any point with your own thoughts, what would make, like Brother Idris Khamisa says, what to you would be the ideal matriculant? Would you say would not to put the child or the student that does get necessarily all of those distinctions or is the overachiever, but what would be the characteristics of somebody that once you've completed your school year, now you're stepping out into the world, you should be able to understand how to get a job or an internship or where to volunteer. We need to think, do you want to take that gap year, or what do you want to do? What do you want to do with the rest of your life? How to apply for a license, a driver's license? There's so many real life things. How to how to cook for yourself.
Sew a button. If you think about it,
So I still don't know how to do that.
No, you can't. It's simple. Needlework. We don't do needlework. If you look at our girls who are 18 years old, they can't do things what we could do when we were like 9 years or 8 years. So skills. What skills do you have?
And general life skills, everyday skills.
We have children, and I'm saying this on air, where everything is done for them.
100%.
From cleaning to be driven to school, even to purchase stuff. And they want to go study in China or another country. And when they go, their reality hits them. Gosh, I have to wash my own clothes. I have to make my own bed. I have to buy my own groceries.
Out comes the noodles.
And they actually go into depression, because they had this whole image like, everything is hunky-dory. But then you realize you needed the skills. And those skills, it comes from being responsible. And also, as Brother Idris mentioned, the way you brought up your values, your morals. So
it works together. If you wish to contribute to the discussion, the WhatsApp line is, I keep forgetting this number every time, 060-904-1056. That's the WhatsApp line, 060-904-1056. If you wish to pop us a WhatsApp at any point with your thoughts with regards to the discussion as well. So as we're tapping more and more into, we are also live on YouTube as well as Facebook. So that's great. So you can watch the discussion that's happening live in studio as well. We're joined by Sumaya Khan and Edris Khamisa in studio, and we're talking all things finals from a preparation perspective. So let's talk in general now. Now you are at this point, a weekend away from the finals starting. You've been hearing about this for the past 11, 12 years now of your life, and now you want to form a routine. If you haven't already, it's a bit late, but now if you want to kind of form a routine, what are some of the sacrifices that would need to be made as a family? Because it's not just you as one individual, it's the support system as well that's around you. How important is that?
Kala, Puppi, Kalu. Don't come visit me.
Don't visit. Is that one of the rule number one?
Boundaries. I think it's very hard to set those boundaries, respect that family. They have a child. I know when I was in school, if a family or someone when you said, what, don't visit us. And I know my parents will say, that's so strange. But again, everyone is different. But with now, there's so much of distraction. I think we as extended families, as friends, we need to respect that household because there's a child studying. And also, please save your weddings for December after exams.
Save the weddings for December.
Functions and stuff.
Uncle Edris, from your experience with the school environments as well, how mentally draining or stressful would that be this particular time when now the priority and focus has to be on that one child?
Yeah, you see what happens sometimes unwittingly, we overly pressurize the students.
Is that too much pressure?
And we are speaking about the image of a reputation and everything else, number one. The second important thing is one of the things that I often mention, the pain is the training, the glory is the race. If you have done the right kind of preparation, the examination will be something that you do it, inshallah, with some ease. But it's very, very important that we psychologically prepare them for that reality. And one of the things that I would like to talk about, if we have an opportunity, is, okay, they are in that week. They are writing the exam paper, right? What should they do the night before? What should they do after they've written the exam paper, right? And what should the family do, right? Because an important thing, it's a very important thing is this, that, too much of analysis gives you paralysis. You write a paper, Of course, you need to reflect on it. I'm not saying you must not reflect on it, but you cannot get so consumed by it that you forget the next paper. You might have not done too well in this particular paper. Maybe the paper was difficult. You have done whatever you could. Now, if you're going to be consumed by it, it's going to impinge on your concentration for the other papers. But so these are very important, very, very fundamental things. So the home has to make a sacrifice. They need to create a scenario. In fact, the laziest students will not mind the disruption. He said, "Mommy,
every excuse.
They need a break.
Mommy,
We need a break.
I don't mind this week. Fatima is a sister. I don't mind. Fatima gets better." He said, "What about you?" He said, "No, it's okay, ma. It's okay. Exam is part of life, ma." You know what I mean? It's because some of them will don't mind the disruption.
They
need, but they hope when the exam is over, there's some kind of catastrophe in their examination office. All
the lights load shedding.
I'm going to say this. I always wish that sometimes.
What's that?
Like maybe the bus or the taxi or the vehicle taking the papers that meet in an accident.
Yeah,
or
that's coming from the teacher.
So we all are human. No, but sometimes you like, you hope.
What would happen in that sort of scenario, though?
Well, they will have, it happened.
Yeah.
They'll have to rewrite it, or they will take a medium mark, or they'll do a blanket mark.
They'll do one of many things, you see.
Okay.
One of many things. When that happens, because then with all those other people have another narrative, can have a serious argument about it. You know? So, but I know, I wish that many times in my life.
Like that would be interesting. No, I loved exam time. It used to be I'm not exactly one of those students that, pulled out 7, 8 A's. I had like my one distinction I was so thrilled about. But it was an exciting time for me. And I remember always you have those moments when you want to just stop and your hand gets sore sometimes or your wrist. And you sit up. And I remember looking around at my classmates and the positions they would take while they're doing it. You have those that take off their shoes.
Yeah.
And some of them get into this weird crouchy position. You'll find some of them they just will have one pen and one something, and those ones just want to write for their lives. And you'll find the others that are literally just killing time because they don't know much what to write. And I used to love watching them as they write their papers, but that wasn't in all papers. But I just loved that. I love analyzing people when they come to writing papers. It makes me think about our own techniques that each of us have to cope with that stress. What would be some of the coping methods that people could use or during this time?
I think,
the students themselves.
I think a few things. Firstly, you need to do a self-reflection.
Yeah.
You got to ask yourself, when I do certain things, is it helping me? Is it an enabler? Or is it something that is creating frustration? Because some people do an over-analysis, right? They get too excited and they make mistakes. They are prepared for the exam, but in the examination room, they make silly mistakes.
We used to do that, like us. That's why you never get that A.
Yeah. Okay.
The silly mistake.
Yeah. But you see, the whole thing is this. There has to be a kind of support from the home, where the parents help them. I know of some people that they are so well prepared, it's almost with some degree of assurance you can say they'll get 90s or 100%.
They know what they'll get
but
already.
They are the biggest warriors.
But you mentioning
that is very true.
You won't believe it, Salma. Brother Edris, I can still remember my very first paper. It was speech and drama. I think it was like a 4-hour paper.
Wow.
I went to Overport Secondary. I never go to no private school. And I think it was this part of the year. It's Diwali and Guy Fawkes.
Yeah.
And there we are writing, and it's like on nighttime almost, and the fireworks. You can still remember. I remember going home and, with speech and drama, there's a lot of essays and stuff like that there. And my mother was busy in the kitchen, preparing supper before father comes home from work. Khamisa, how was it? School was near, so we just walk home. So I said, I started crying. I said, I think I failed the paper. And my mother said something, well, it's not the end of the world, even though my mother was a disciplinarian. She said, well, people fail, people rewrite, so why are you stressing? And, I still remember that. And then as he mentioned, you have people who think they aced it. And when they realize they never do so bad, they actually go into depression.
At school, I was very naughty and very playful.
Still are.
So
we can picture that.
So now, in the trial exam, for example, they give us a paper.
Yeah.
I'll jump, excited and whatnot.
Like
So
it's everything you knew it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got this.
Yeah. So I'm jumping now. The top student is worried. Like the top student.
This
got
Idris is going to
90%.
beat me this year.
Idris, how you did? I get a 51. Long as I got 5 on the left hand side, you know what I mean. So it was a question of perspectives,
100%.
And whilst I should tease them, but I could, I appreciate the diligence and all that,
No, absolutely. Sumaya, how necessary would it be from your experience in interviewing all these youngsters and the children? How necessary is it? What do they use? Do they have study groups in matric? Is it tuition classes, past papers, revision? Like, what are the typical tools that they would use at this time now to prepare?
You mentioned this. There's no winning formula. Everyone is different. Well, the steps depends on you. The sacrifices you take, your aspirations, and what you want to achieve. Also, to stay focused. Studying requires you attending your classes, going to school every day. Also, managing your time when you are studying effectively. Seek help when needed. Seek support. And you need to realize what's my goal at the end of this. Because I remember my father saying, hey, listen, we're not Lanis. We got no money to fall back on. You need to become someone. And that is the harsh reality. Let's be honest. What is our goal? When you wrote that paper, what was your goal? And even if you're applying for a bursary or a scholarship, you have to damn well do well to get that.
You have to.
And not everyone.
The scholarship students work really hard to make sure they get those scholarships.
And not everyone is in that financial situation to spend 200,000 or 100,000
in fact, Salma, you see, the whole thing is, when I look back in our day, right, passing metric exam was a critical thing. For many people, it was about survival. It's about, doing something, going to university, doing something for your family.
Yeah.
But things have changed. You see, things have changed radically.
But our name used to be in the paper, senior.
Hey, I want to talk about that. When we come back from the break, I want to talk about that.
Before you go, my name.
Why did they change
common.
that?
Sumaya Khan. So it's like,
20 Sumaya Khans.
Not 20 more.
When we come back, we're going to talk mental wellness. How dangerous or how triggering can final exams actually be? And what do typical students need to eat? And how many hours do they need to sleep? When is the ideal time to study? All that and more on the other side of this.
Looking for the perfect Umrah experience? Look no further. One Stop Travel and Tours brings you exclusive Umrah group packages with Qatar Airways departing from Johannesburg. Enjoy a seamless journey with flights, accommodations in Makkah and Medina, and visas all included. Experience spiritual peace with Ziyarat Tours guided in English. Departure dates start from December 25th, returning by January 14th. For a stress-free, soul-enriching Umrah journey, call One Stop Travel today at 031-271-2800. One Stop Travel and Tours. Your pilgrimage, our priority.
Are you tired of boring chows that make you yawn louder than your mother-in-law's words? Then perk up those taste buds and head on down to J-Mo's Pizza and Grill. From breakfast to bedtime bites, we've got it all. Chicken tikka, shish kebabs to cheddar steak sandwiches. Swing by and pull into Saxony Westwood Mall's food court. Open daily. Catch us Sunday to Thursday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. And on Fridays and Saturdays, we're serving up sizzle till 9 p.m. We deliver. Call us on 082-678-5062. J-Mo's, where every meal's a flavor fiesta. Hee-haw!
As promised at last year's Durban Summer Cirque, part of our profits will go to making a real difference in our community. The Al Ansar Foundation proudly completed its first borehole for the community of Redcliffe. With water shortages affecting many, our mission is clear. Let's bring clean water to more areas in need. Join us in making an impact. Call Outreach on 031-208-1601 or visit alansar.org.za to help build more boreholes and transform lives.
Urban Woman with me, Razia Ranwich, is turning 4 and we're celebrating in style. Join us for a morning of fun and an unforgettable live show, lunch, and what's a celebration without cake? Stand a chance to win an air fryer, and we have many other amazing prizes and surprises just for you. Don't miss the excitement. It's all happening on Thursday, 31st October at the Al Ansar Conference Center from 10 a.m. to 12. Tickets are 100 Rand, available from the Al Ansar shop. Hurry, space is limited to just 50 ladies only.
Getting real through your day. Radio Al Ansar.
Radio Al Ansar.
I see. Tobeka comes in with a song like that and then she expects me to talk right over it. You can't play Rahmatul Lil Alameen and then expect us to talk over it, but we have to keep that song. You have to play it later now because that one you have to play in full. Thank you, Tobeka, behind the song selection for us today. If you've just tuned in, you're welcome to join in the program as well by popping us a WhatsApp message 060-904-1056. If you have somebody that's doing matric this year, we'd love to hear from you. What are some of your personal tips or recommendations into handling or coping better with the matric final examinations that are due to start next week? We ended just before the break touching on the mental well-being, the stressful points, the triggering points, the emotions of a youngster. Now, while Uncle Edris, you are already working with many young people, generally speaking, something like this, and it's not just about the finals, it's the culmination now of 12 years of going to school with your lunch boxes, with your friends, and so I think there's mixed emotions there. It's on the one hand, you're stressed about the exams, you want to do well, you want to pass, you want to feel proud that, okay, I did it and I did it well, because you see all those Instagram pictures and you see the graduation. I feel like that now when I see other girls my age and with their post-grads and masters, and I'm sitting at home there with my kids. So they would go through the similar sort of FOMO now. School is closing. Now the rest of my life, where are my friends going to be? Where am I going to be? What am I going to be able to do? What am I going to achieve? Talk us through some of that, the stress and emotions that typical 17-year-old is going through.
You know what? I think it's a unique experience.
Yeah.
For that individual who is not working too hard, around that period, he'll be confronted with his true reality.
Wow.
Then he'll have regrets. He'll feel a sense of insecurity. I don't think I'll make it. The negativity. That's a very important aspect, And he also requires support to say, you know what, you can still redeem yourself and pass at least. You know what I mean? You can do that. Then the other person who has got aspirations, has worked hard all his life, he sees this now as getting into a brighter future in a different place, a world that he wants to go. It's more about him. Some of them are so individualistic, they're not really concerned about people around them. And this is a reality. One of the things that I found, without making a generalization, although it is a generalization, is the fact that when I look back at my students, who are the students that are making contribution to society? It's not the first, second, and third.
No.
The first, second, and third is about self-aggrandizement. It's about me, myself, I. It's the other students that we're average, who are doing great work, man. Great work in industry, helping other people, voluntary services, others only but me, myself, I. So I think that's a thing that worries me a bit. And some of them are also products of Muslim schools. You begin to wonder, did not the lessons of generosity, of ummatic consciousness have any impact? So at that particular time, now for parents, they need to understand that it's too late to reprimand him, because you as a father notice that he has been loafing, and suddenly you'll give him a lecture now.
Too late.
You know what I mean?
It's finals time now.
Like a person who ignored his daughter or son on the way, on the driving him to the wedding, says, son, now you must understand, you got to be a responsible boy. You know what I mean?
Good husband.
You can't do that. So I think you got to know each of your children, got to know what their needs are, be supportive of them. But the critical thing in life, we've got to teach our children consequences of behavior and accountability.
Exactly.
Right? They cannot do things. For example, I remember some years ago, a father said, I told my son, man, at least, write the exam, man, metric exam, and you pass, I'll buy you a car.
Just like that, yeah.
I'll buy you a car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right? Or, some other parents would have said, pass the exam, man. When you get a car, I'll petrol for you sometimes.
I like what you said. Brother Ismail Vardi, if you know him, he was our basic Minister of Education for National, and then he was the Transport MEC.
Yeah.
I interviewed him quite a few times on my show, and he also was involved in the teacher unions, very involved in the activism. And he said something that made me think, I think as a mother, as an educator, he said, you know what? From our Muslim schools, how many children are activists representing us, How many of us are fighting for some social justice?
Correct.
We are paying such big school fees. Not one. Not one child. And so you mentioned it's not the high flyers, the academics. It's the ones who are grounded who get involved. And he said something else that made us think, and he said it on air. He said none of his children are following his part. They don't want to do any community work. They don't want to get involved. I think he's also with that Amit Katrada Foundation.
Yeah.
Nothing. They are just involved in their own profession. Imagine your dad is a stalwart and he's saying this, but this is the culture of today. We want quick, easy, just social media, not hands-on getting dirty.
Hey, I still want to go into social media too. That's another topic in itself because matriculants of the past never really had to have a social media to compare themselves to. But let's respond to another person sent a poem. That's an extremely long poem, but I cannot read that out. But Sister Zakia had some messages to send out. Salam, Salma, and the team. An awesome topic, brilliant guests. I'm so glad you're addressing this in such a light manner. That was the intention, of course. It's going to help the kids out there and parents too. In matric, my son had shingles because of the stress. He just wasn't coping. We had to sit down and just told him, do your best. Pressure from school, peers, and us as parents contribute to all the stress. As a parent, we had to calm down. Parents must calm down and stop comparing siblings. I think that's a key one. When you know you've got, say, for example, kids at different ages, and now the eldest probably was like the Dux awardee or something. And then you have the next one that, okay, she got like 7 A's. Okay, very good. Congratulations. And then comes the third one.
Exactly.
And the third one is not interested.
But imagine, let's be realistic and honest. You're at this family get together with your aunts and your uncles, and they're saying, oh, my child got 6 A's and they do this. And now your mom, your daddy specialized. My child just faked it. You know, that's also a situation. Why do we have to brag? Why do we have to?
But sometimes it's not even intentional. They're just proud or happy, but you don't realize what that does to the other.
See that, therefore, one of the things that I mentioned, I came across this, that every child comes to school with 3 things. With an IQ, with a baggage of values and attitude. Now, Allah has made all of us different.
Right.
Therefore, in Islam, you encourage the kids, they must make the effort. The outcome is not in their hands. Right? Naturally, the outcome is not the desired outcome. You relook at your effort. Now, for example, say there are 3 kids at home. The one son, for example, he could spend half an hour and do great stuff. The other person may spend 3 hours, may not come even anywhere near that. I think comparisons are odious, and I want parents to understand that academic success on its own is not an indicator of success. What kind of child would you want when you're closing your eyes? A child that is responsive, respectful, loving, who's making dua for you.
I was just going to say, who's going to be able to do your kafan,
I'm right or wrong.
Be at your janaza. Yes.
So that's a fundamental thing. So I'm saying we must not lose perspective, right? And we must forget what the others are going to say. We are so concerned about other people's opinions. As a result, we stultify, and we really squelch the creativity of our own children.
Exactly. And you know what? We also have become, we all love nice things. We are modern. But end of the day, we have to follow what Quran and Hadith says, and we are Muslims. Because if you think about it, how many of our children know what to do if there's a janaza?
Yes, that's a very important topic. We're having ghusl classes end of this month.
We need to
here at Al Ansar
on the radio.
And I think that's such an important point that he brought up now, because you think about it, at the end of the day, come a time like that, and you're looking for the nearest ulama or mufti, or to ask for a help for the
family
or the elders.
Member in the family who knows everything.
Yes, no, definitely. We're going to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we've got from last year's matriculants that are in studio, and one that we're going to call up as well during the break. And we're going to introduce them to you, and they're just going to offer some insight from their perspective as well, having just gone through their matric. So we talk to them on the other side of this.
Looking for the perfect Umrah experience? Look no further. One Stop Travel and Tours brings you exclusive Umrah group packages with Qatar Airways departing from Johannesburg. Enjoy a seamless journey with flights, accommodations in Makkah and Medina, and visas all included. Experience spiritual peace with Ziyarat tours guided in English. Departure dates start from December 25th, returning by January 14th. For a stress-free, soul-enriching Umrah journey, call One Stop Travel today at 031-271-2800. One-stop travel and tours. Your pilgrimage, our priority.
Looking for an Android POS system that boosts efficiency and integrates effortlessly with your business systems? At SMG Technical Services, we offer mobile solutions tailored for retail, restaurants, and service industries. Our system allows you to process transactions and manage sales inventory in real time on Android devices. Enjoy benefits like flexibility, user-friendliness, cost-effectiveness, multiple payment options, and enhanced customer experiences. For more information, contact us at 084-945-9349.
Spend 400 rands or more to win with Checkers Foods Kawi Park and Radio Al-Ansar. You could be one of 8 weekly winners of a Philips 6.2-liter air fryer or a Weber Bryce stand valued at over 2,000 rand. Hop into Checkers Foods Kawi Park, shop, drop your till slip into the entry box, and wait for your name to be announced on air. That's it. Checkers Foods Kawi Park, certified by the NIHT, the National Independent Halal Trust, across the butchery, bakery, and deli. T's and C's apply.
You've played it previously.
Ladies and gentlemen, pop up the volume.
The Breakfast Rush brain squeeze.
You're on 4 out of 5. One more correct answer, and you win. Incorrect answer. If you said Henry VIII.
Eight. Oh,
Jazakallah for your call. Have yourself an amazing day. How are we going to explain that one there?
It's back on the Breakfast Rush. Audio stream across the world on radioalansar.co.za.
صلى الله على طه خير الخلق وأحلاها صلى الله على طه خير الخلق وأحلاها خير الخلق هو الهادي نور الكون به بادي عم الناس بإرشادي أزكى الخلق وأرضاها الله على طه خير الخلق وأحلاها صلى الله على طه خير الخلق وأحلاها محمد منصور.
All right, 49 minutes away after 3 o'clock. So we've just got a little over 10 minutes to go till the news. And we're going to shift to on the line. We've got with us one student, former student. I think this is a student. They're all students from 2023. And we've got 2 in studio as well. So I'm going to allow Sumaya to introduce the one we have online and just chat to him quickly. Go for it, Sumaya.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Brother Abu,
Chi.
how are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, and you?
Alhamdulillah. You know, when I was messaging you, you sounded so like you in this, you're working so hard. You needed to time yourself. You needed to let me, you're asking me, a whole lot of things. So can you believe 1 year has passed?
Alhamdulillah, it's a bit hard to believe. It's been a bit of a hectic year. It's been completely different to what school is with university and other things included. So I just make shukr that this year has passed, but it has passed so quickly, and it's just been very different to how last year and my matric year went.
You were in Alphala.
Chi.
Okay. Do we chatted about this many times, and even with you guys being in studio, we have the academics who want to achieve, want to get accepted university, want to do that profession, no matter what, they give it all. And on the flip side, we have those who are just not cut out for academia. We need skills. So what's your advice for the matriculant of 2024? Right now, every year there's something new, which is a distraction. So what advice you have for our 2024 matriculant out there?
Firstly, my first piece of advice would be that you have to work hard in this last month, or I think it's a week now leading up to finals. You have to work hard. But at the end of the day, it comes down to whether you do well or not. If you do well, it's important to note that your university year is nothing at all like school. It's completely different. The shift is just massive. The workload, the content, it's very different, and it's a very different life. But on the other hand, if you don't do well, there's so many options for things that you can do out there. It's important to keep in note that having academic skills is not the only thing that's going to take you far in life. You can be successful in many other avenues. And at the end of the day, it just comes down to your faith and your trust in Allah that whatever happens, that's going to help you through whatever it is that's going to happen. And at the end of the day, if you do well or if you do bad, it's not your final decision, because as I said, some people who do well in school might not do well in university and might not succeed. But some people who don't do well in school might just go on to succeed after that.
Okay. Do you know what you're studying currently?
Chemical engineering.
Chemical engineering. So is it challenging?
It is quite challenging. It's much different to school. It's very different, and it has been quite hard.
Quite hard. Do you know, tell us about your journey last year, tips like what you felt never worked for you, whether it was your studying or whether it was your diet or whether it was just your social life. Let's be real here. So tell us what advice you got for our learners of 2024.
The first thing that really helped me last year was doing a lot of past papers, looking at trends and finding questions that that would help you or that you might find similar in your exam. Doing a lot of the provincial trial papers, that's also extremely helpful, because a lot of final exams are set based on what the trial exams are set on. It's important to also have some social and family time to gather the support and advice from your family and friends. Because that's at the end of the day is going to help you, because they are your support and backbone that are going to help you get through this difficult and stressful time. And it's also important that you keep on your deen, you make dua to Allah, you read your salahs, your zikr, whether it's waking up for tahajjud, whether it's reading your Quran. It's important that you just keep straight and you don't let the studying distract you from what's important in the long term.
Allah bless you. You look like such an ideal son. All of us want to adopt you now. Right? So anyway.
We want you for our daughters.
Yeah. But the question I want to ask you, if you were to go back to the school, what advice would you give the teachers there? Or what perhaps they could do differently?
In my opinion, I feel that if you look at the school system, for example, and how matric finals are set out, we have so many papers, but it's all spread out across different weeks, and you have breaks in between papers. So in that way, I feel that when you write exams in schools, normally it's 2 papers a day, or maybe 1 paper a day, but it's all the day after each other. So there's a lot of unnecessary stress placed on students, where in finals time, you might have extra time, you don't know what to do, and that might lead you astray, because I don't have any time to do. You might just relax, or you might take it too easy, and that's what could lead to your downfall and you getting bad results.
Okay.
Jazakallah khair so much for speaking to us, Abu. We wish you all the best with the balance of your studies, all the success, and we look forward to speaking to you, inshallah, when we're discussing entrepreneurship on our career programs. We'll discuss your career as an engineer, inshallah.
Inshallah. All the best. Jazakallah for taking the time to link up with us in your busy day.
Assalamu alaikum. That was Abu, one of our students from 2023. We're also joined by, forgive me if I've mispronounced the name, Kashif Kanani, and that is she's currently studying a Bachelor of Arts or Accounting. My apologies. And then we've got Muhammad Yusuf Kasim that is currently pursuing his degree in medicine. So we welcome both of you to the studio as well. Also matriculants from 2023, listening to what Brother Abu said as well. I love his points when he highlights and he specifically mentions the importance of family time. I think that's so important, of that little bit of a social time in between, that mental break. How important would that be, even though there's so much of priority on those academics, but how important it is to still take care of yourself? If either one of you, they want to answer that first.
So I believe firstly that a support system is extremely crucial, be that your family or maybe it's your friends, maybe it's a mentor of some sort. So amidst all the pressure and all of the studying and stress, it's extremely important that you have something to fall back on and to talk about your worries, because maybe you might come home one day and you're completely exhausted, mentally, physically, everything. You need that something to fall back on and something to lift yourself up, uplift you and keep you going, the motivation in this time. Because I know when I was it feels so long ago, but when I was there,
what kept you motivated?
I had my friends, my like comrades, I say, because like, we were all in the
Oh,
trenches.
I love that. His
Like,
comrades.
So I have to say a mandla. You've got to say a way too.
Yeah, he was in the struggle.
Tell us about the comrades.
Yeah, my friends, but now they're all scattered now, unfortunately. But yeah, we used to all attend the tuitions and the after-school lessons and everything. And yeah, so that like the camaraderie, like we're all in the struggle. Like,
Alhamdulillah.
All in the struggle.
yeah.
It's like a whole regime
Do you know
going
what?
on here.
I think we already got a first activist who's going to stand there forefront and make a change.
Like he's using that.
But coming back to that question,
Yeah.
right, I think everyone, you can't go on endlessly with the same kind of energy and tempo. You require replenishment. It is your family gives it to you, a light-hearted moment, making tea for you. You know, that having a little chat, you need that kind of break. Otherwise, you are going to break, you know.
No, you definitely. Let's go to Sister Kashaf there as well. Now, tell us a little bit about your background, where you're from, and what was the completion of your schooling career here like for you?
So I'm originally from Pakistan and I started my high school here in South Africa at Orient. So I've been there for 5 years from grade 7 to 12.
Wonderful.
So I don't really remember much about Pakistan, to be honest, because we didn't really go back.
But how's your Urdu?
It's amazing.
Amazing.
That is amazing.
I remember these was Thandi hawa aa rahi hai sur sur. Madrasa. How's it? Was it okay? Was it okay?
Yes, you said it correctly. I'm impressed.
Autograph later, I don't.
But what was your experience like last year?
It was really nice. Honestly, I think matric was the best year of my high school.
Oh, wow.
Okay, there was a lot of pressure, definitely, but I really enjoyed the work and all the support and everything. And like, I feel like when you know that next year you're not going to be with your friends, you value them more. So I really had like a good time with my friends last year.
So you're not with your friends currently? Did you all do different things?
Yeah, we're all doing different things.
What are some of them doing?
One of them is doing medicine. The other took a gap year. And I think the other one is doing optometry.
And no one got married?
No.
I love that though. Gap years have become a thing now. And I like that because before, if you were taking a gap year, it was almost like, why? Did you not do well? You know, did something happen? But now you find people confidently saying, no, I want to take a gap year because I want to still get my feelers, put my feelers out there. And I wish, if there was anything I regret, is not taking that gap year, because we were the youngest in our classes. We were only turning 17 at the end of that year. In November were our birthdays, and we were young, if you think about it. And we had to already decide what we wanted to be for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, but the caveat is, in that gap year, it isn't something you're doing absolutely nothing.
No.
There's some kind of program to find yourself, upskill or whatever.
And also, you know what happens in the gap year? You have to be so focused and have that drive, because sometimes you tend to become lazy and complacent, and what you decided or why you decide taking that gap year, you lose the plot.
Absolutely. It's exactly 4:00, and Tobeka, like they do on the tarmac when that aeroplane needs to take off, she signaled us already that we need to wrap up. It's time for news. Straight on the other side of news, we're going to come back and we need to talk a diet. We need to talk how often you guys sleep, how much of sleep we need, and how early are they waking up, the matriculants of 2024. We're talking all things finals right here on the Social Network.
Looking for the perfect Umrah experience? Look no further. One Stop Travel and Tours brings you exclusive Umrah group packages with Qatar Airways departing from Johannesburg. Enjoy a seamless journey with flights, accommodations in Makkah and Medina, and visas all included. Experience spiritual peace with Ziyarat Tours guided in English. Departure dates start from December 25th, returning by January 14th. For a stress-free, soul-enriching Umrah journey, call One Stop Travel today at 031-271-2800. One Stop Travel and Tours. Your pilgrimage, our priority.
Verily, every soul shall taste death. Prepare yourself for the inevitable. Join the Al-Ansar Foundation for our annual Ladies Workshop on Saturday, the 26th of October from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Seats are limited, so don't delay. Register now by calling 031-208-1601. Save the date, 26th October, Al-Ansar Conference. Secure your spot and ensure you are prepared for life's final journey.
They convince the world to believe that terrorists look like beards and thobes. Now, as the facade cracks, One martyr after another, the world sees through the broken windows and now knows the true face of terrorism. It wears suits and ties and smiles behind lies.
اللهم احفظ المسجد الأقصى من اليهود الحاقدين اللهم أعد المسجد الأقصى إلى رحاب المسلمين اللهم وطهر المسجد الأقصى من اليهود الغاصبين اللهم عليك بهم فإنهم لا يعجزونك يا قوي يا متين اللهم منزل الكتاب مجري السحاب هازم الأحزاب سريع الحساب اهزم اليهود وزلزلهم يا قوي يا عزيز.
Audio stream across the world on radioalansar.co.za.
An informative Islamic global perspective. This is Al Ansar News.
Slightly gone past the hour of 4 this afternoon, the 18th of October. The news from Durban, 90.4 FM, Peter Maritzburg, 105.6 FM. Government of National Unity announces changes in tender processes in KwaZulu-Natal. America Monina, local media says it has been more than 100 days since the KwaZulu-Natal Unity government was constituted. This brought several changes to the provincial government structures. The Public Works MEC Martin Meyer announced changes in its department's tender processes. The department is now conducting full visual and audio recordings of all staff interviews, as well as supply chain management bid committee meetings during tender process. KwaZulu-Natal Public Works MEC Martin Meyer has this to say.
I think there's various reasons for it. SAPS has definitely come to the fore and had a much stronger approach to this. So when ourselves or contractors approach SAPS, they're now acting very strongly. I think that's part of it. I think our change in approach as a department, that we're involving communities a lot earlier and talking to communities, is closing the door for construction mafia to come in. And I also think the fact that we're now shining a light on it has made it very difficult. You know, any wrongdoings cannot function in the light. And we know that, you know, and organized crime and extortionists, they don't like being in the limelight. So I think us just being very open and honest about it and about these challenges has made it very difficult for them to operate. And then also looking internally, we do understand that we are a department that's racked with problems, and there were some people inside the department that might have been working with the extortionists and putting these systems in place. We're also closing those doors for these activities.
More news. A Berkshire family is preparing to lay to rest relatives who were murdered at last weekend. Now, 5 members of the Kazi family were stabbed to death. 2 children aged between 2 and 6 were among the victims. KwaZulu-Natal police have since arrested a 33-year-old suspect. Okulhlamba Mayor Vigizi Tamlosha visited the family earlier in the week, saying they had offered them assistance, including counseling. The municipality says it will cover the cost of the funeral, which will be held on Saturday, tomorrow. More development. Over 200 employees from the DSV Transport and Logistics have been dismissed via SMS after embarking on a wage strike. According to the South African Equity Workers Association, the strike started on the 3rd of October, and to date, the company still has not responded to its memorandum of demands. DSV officials say they have done everything according to the law. Moving on to other stories, ANC caucus leader Eugene Modise has been elected as Tshwane's new deputy mayor. Modise was elected unopposed during a special council sitting earlier today. He replaces Action SA councillor Dr. Nasipi Moya, who resigned from the position after being elected mayor earlier this month. Modise, who is also the current member of the mayoral committee for finance, steps into the role just days after the mayor Moya announced a mayoral committee, which includes 5 ANC councillors. 2 from the ANC caucus leader Eugene Modise has been elected as the new deputy mayor. He has this to say earlier today.
The first thing that we are going to do, which is simple, is to ensure that we clean the city. It's the simplest thing. And ensure that we talk to the people who have connected electricity illegally, because they are paying, but they're not paying the city. And then we make sure that those who doesn't have electricity, we connect them so that they are able to pay. You know, there's a phenomenon which is dangerous. When you don't give people electricity, they will steal it because they need it. So we're going to do that professionally and ensure that they are having electricity, all of them, without discrimination. It is realizable, it's easy, it's the easiest thing you can get, because those people are already paying, by the way, but they are paying somebody, not the city. So we're going to do it legitimately.
And finally, international story, a senior Hamas official says the resistance group that is seeking the liberation of Palestine from the Israeli occupation cannot be eliminated with the martyrdom of its leaders. Bassem Naim, a member of Hamas Political Bureau, made the remarks earlier today, a day after Israel claimed it had killed the group's leader Yahya Sinwar. In a statement released yesterday, the Israeli military claimed that Sinwar was eliminated by its troops in the southern Gaza Strip. Drone footage released by Israeli media of what they claim to be Sinwar's final moment shows a man fighting bravely and refusing to surrender despite severe injuries. In your weather, it's 22 degrees. Cloudy conditions. A quick reminder of our top story. Local media says it has been more than 100 days since KwaZulu-Natal Unity Government was constituted. This brought several changes to the provincial government structures, such as changes to tender processes. That's the news.
The views and opinions expressed by the guest and presenters of Radio Al Ansar are not necessarily the views and opinions of Radio Al Ansar and the Al Ansar Foundation.
Looking for the perfect Umrah experience? Look no further. One Stop Travel and Tours brings you exclusive Umrah group packages with Qatar Airways departing from Johannesburg. Enjoy a seamless journey with flights, accommodations in Makkah and Medina, and visas all included. Experience spiritual peace with Ziyarat Tours guided in English. Departure dates start from December 25th. Returning by January 14th. For a stress-free, soul-enriching Umrah journey, call One Stop Travel today at 031-271-2800. One Stop Travel and Tours. Your pilgrimage, our priority.
When you give water, you're reaching out to drought-affected areas, bringing them to life. Fresh water to drink, to clean, and to grow. That's the power water. Donate now to Islamic Relief.
Al Ansar Shop trading hours are Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., Saturdays 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., closed Sundays and public holidays. Al Ansar Shop, your one-stop Islamic shop.
Audio stream across the world on radioalansar.co.za.
يا من صليت بكل الأنبياء، يا من في قلبك رحمة للناس، يا من ألفت قلوبا بالإسلام، يا حبيبي يا شفيعي يا رسول الله، بأمي فديتك سيدي، صلاة وسلام عليك يا نبي، حبيبي يا محمد، أتيت بالسلام والهدى محمد، حبيبي يا محمد، يا رحمة للعالمين يا محمد، يا من حليت حياتنا بالإيمان، يا
It's a few minutes after 4 o'clock. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Culminating now, Social Network will wrap up at about 4:30 and make way for the afternoon jam. We're talking all things finals. In studio with me today is Brother Edris Khamisa and Sister Sumaya Khan from School Matters, usually on a Tuesday evening between 7 and 8, right? On a Tuesday evening. Lovely messages coming in from the listeners enjoying the program, saying how beneficial it is and this is needed. And we understand also that Gen Z is not typically listening to Al Ansar most of the time. So we're assuming that you as the parent are now going to take the recording and the Facebook Live and show it to your child to see what we're discussing. Make them watch it and have them be a part of it. They can watch it on Facebook, YouTube, and we will share. The link will be saved onto our Facebook page, Radio Al Ansar on Facebook. Salams, alhamdulillah, this guy spoke so well. I'm assuming they are referring to the student, Abu. He mentioned Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name in every sentence. May he be successful, inshallah, definitely, without a doubt. Assalamu alaikum. Allow me to contribute to your subject matter as a former facilitator and lecturer. The common mistake most students, parents, and educators make is to focus on matric instead of grade 8 and 9. Planning and development to prepare for a stress-free matric year. Jazakallah for reading my input. Allah Hafiz. This is from Ayub Rahman from Pietermaritzburg, including grades 10 and 11. I think that's important also, those high school years initially, when they're just about getting into the zone, figuring out the subjects, figuring out their life.
In fact, when they were looking at one time when the metric results were not so great, and they asked someone to investigate it, you know what he said? It starts off from the day a child enters school.
Right.
His attitudes will be determined by the teacher. What are his attitudes? Is it positive or negative? So it's important. So whenever we are celebrating the top metric results, and we pat the teachers on the shoulder when they say, well done, you taught my child. But it is the grade 1 teacher.
You go back to the beginning.
In fact, someone was asked this question, to what would you attribute your success? He says, to my grade 1 teacher. Gave me self-esteem and self-belief.
And we tend to forget them. We're always talking about our grade 12 teachers.
They built the foundation. They built that mindset, that love for studying, the love for school as well. Let's talk a little bit about now in 2024 as well. What are we seeing in the whole, as we're getting ready now for exam day that is starting Monday? What's happening from a municipality perspective now? They're busy signing pledges, and how are they preparing for the final? It's in here, not to put them down at all. Spoke to, you hear those wanting to pursue their law degrees. Of course, they're looking at stability, they're looking what they want to do, and it is in demand, it is sought after. But what would your advice be to the young people out there, the young adults, to broaden the horizons? The world is enormous. Opportunities are endless for parents to be accepting when their child comes to them and say they want to pursue something that perhaps is out of the ordinary, or what their family's never heard of, somebody wanting to pursue a career in robotical something. And what would you say to them?
Firstly, I think we need to understand the landscape has changed. Someone said it so nicely, if you miss a beat, you miss a whole generation. Gone are the days when this common professions were your lifesaver. Many of them are becoming archaic, antiquated, and is not relevant at all. So what you need to do is simple. You go on to your website and speak about where there's a dire need for what programs, and they'll tell you. And they'll tell you which programs will become obsolete. So it's very, very important that the schools themselves open their mind. You got to, as someone said it so nicely, if you teach children how you were taught, you rob them of their tomorrow.
Wow.
That's powerful, right?
Yes.
Because it's so
Wait, let
powerful.
me write that down.
I'll say it again.
Yeah.
I'll say it.
Say
it. Right. 1, 2, 3. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. If you teach children how you were taught, you rob them of their tomorrow. And that's the thing, the school is not a theoretical space, you cannot be hidebound by a textbook. You owe it to your learners to make them understand how to navigate those waters, how they make decisions, how to choose a career. And that's an important aspect. So I think parents themselves, they mustn't believe or have the assumption, well, if my son is not a doctor, then I'm going to be very patient.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. If he's not going to be a lawyer, I'm in big trouble. Whatever. I'm not trying to diminish those careers, but I think one has to be realistic and to understand that the writing is on the wall.
No, they may be very good at sports.
Yes.
So let them pursue it.
Yes.
Let them pursue the cricketing or soccer or whatever it may be. But that's the idea. Let them. Life is short.
Life is short, and I
Go
have
for
to
it.
go. Allah bless
You have to go.
Salma. I hope Sumaya, all the best, and to my students. Thandi hawa aa rahi hai. So.
Walaikum salam. That's brother Edris Khamisa there. Yes, just to repeat what he said, a listener actually said, just repeat it. What he says, if you teach the children how you were taught, you rob them of their tomorrow. That's a beautiful I like it. We like it too. Thank you, Uncle Edris, for being with us today. Now, Sumaya, let's very quickly talk about this as well. And I want the input from the students also that are here. Let's talk sleep. Let's talk about sleeping. It's a very big deal for me because I love my sleep, and I used to always be made to feel very bad that you had to stay up very late or you had to be waking up from 4 o'clock in the morning. What is common that you've heard?
Well, I think everyone have their own
preferences,
study styles, and how they do it. There's no winning formula. So everyone is different. It's the steps you take, the sacrifices. So just look, are you a morning person, night person? Which one?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not a morning person, and now I can't survive the night, but I'm more of a night person.
So like with me, I would get up like after Fajr, and I'll be studying non-stop. And the minute the sun goes down, Maghrib time, Sumaya's not studying. I can't do it.
You switch off?
I switch off. Only like if the paper's tomorrow, you'll try to cram. But I need that sleep, normal time sleep, where the sun is down. And then you have people who like studying, burning that midnight oil where the house is quiet and, it's all about them. There's no distraction.
No, that's me.
Yeah, that's you. So what works for you? Maybe our students can tell us.
Yeah, let's hear from them. So we've got the sister behind us who did her matric last year. So Ted, let's go over to her a little bit. Share with us what was your sleep style, sleep eating routine?
I didn't have a sleep routine. So just to make sure I did cover everything, I was waking up at 4 every day. And
did she just say sleep at 2 and wake up at 4? That's what she said, right?
Yes.
Sleep at 2, wake up at 4.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Were you living on coffee?
Yeah, I was living on coffee. Black coffee, that too, so it works.
Black coffee.
Oh, that works for you.
It works
I think
for
I'll
me.
be jumping like a Duracell bunny. As it is, I'm always high.
What were typical things that you would like to eat that you felt sustained you during your matric time?
Junk.
Was it junk?
Yeah, like chips, biscuits, everything.
So everyone's different.
Like just nibbling on anything while I'm studying, because like I just told myself it's okay if it's like unhealthy because I'm studying. So don't do that also.
Okay, so here's what not to do.
But there's a lot of hype about food and diet. Think about it. When we were in school studying, we ate normal, did everything normal.
Now they get the study gift boxes with the chips and the chocolates and the things to keep you going. I think that's incredible.
That's a new trend. And would you like to tell us?
Let's hear his input. to the gentleman on the other side?
There's always the stereotype of the sleep-deprived student. I remember when I was, anyone would ask, how are you feeling today? I'm tired.
That was the norm.
Yeah. But that's also because you don't really understand how important the sleep is. And now after matric, now I've been reading some, like learning better, and now I understand how actually important sleep is, not just for memory, but just your mood overall.
Yes.
So even, let's say you do like to go to sleep at 2 and wake up at 4 to revise before the exam. I wouldn't recommend that, because the night before the paper, it's much better to just have a nice full sleep, so that you wake up and you're refreshed and your mind is ticking correctly. Because just like even depriving yourself of just a few hours of sleep, the next day, your cognitive skills are already declining. Your mood is declining.
There's the doctor in him coming out already. Can you hear
notice
that?
something, Salma? All our students, they are so serious.
No, like just he's gone into full medicine mode now. His cognitive abilities and everything.
No, we've actually been doing central nervous system.
You see,
this week, and they just told us about sleep deprivation. So that's why I'm just repeating.
He's revising right now his work. And what are the type of the things that what would be your eating routine? A nice big supper or a big breakfast?
I'm not
snacking.
I'm not really a heavy eater. I would say it was just normal. Maybe sometimes it was late in the night and I was feeling a bit hungry then. But otherwise, just normal. When the family is having meals, then I'll have them.
You have with them. Yeah. I think that's good. It gives you some. Yeah, I think it gives some sort of grounding as well when it comes to the normal family routine. I want to touch on something that you mentioned before, and I think this is so vital because it comes up every time finals comes around. With the word suicide, that comes about. Depression, you've mentioned a few times as well. When you don't necessarily feel you've done your best, and now those thoughts start going through your mind. That oh no, I flopped.
Do you know when you think about it, this is a harsh reality. Back in the day, communities couldn't talk about depression.
Yeah.
Remember, suicide is an outcome where you are not helped or you never solve the problem, and then you go into a state of depression. Well, when it comes to matric results are released, could your teenager be an increased risk of suicide? Many parents don't think about that. It's not positive for everyone who wrote matric exams. As parents, we need to remember that mental health, as you touched on that, Salma, of your child is far more important than their academic results. Depression tends to set in and feels like a failure. Children also go into substance abuse, the silent killer. They say depression is the silent killer. So, you tend to feel you never make it. And everyone around you is celebrating and, getting accepted in tertiary. So feelings of being hopelessness, you feel isolated, a sense of being useless, causes havoc in your mind and often leads to suicide. So everyone's contentment and achievement is different of what is successful, and we need to realize this. We need to instill this in our children. Sometimes you can cook a meal and that is your achievement, just to see people eat. It makes you feel so happy and content. And the next person might just hate cooking, and for them might be reading a book.
Pilates class.
Exactly. Well, cooking and food is my thing, so I feel content, tummy and me. So everyone's different. So I think as parents, we need to realize this. And you remember Einstein. Anyone knows he failed grade
Anyone
1?
remember Einstein?
No. He failed class 1. Class 1.
For real?
Einstein. I think there's lots of, if you guys can remember, there's lots of famous people who never make it. And now,
not only that, you look at people that actually achieved the things like Google and the guy behind what was it, Apple? What was his name? I can't remember. It was all those. It was later on in their lives. It was not when they were 20, 25. It was like after they finished something else, then they discovered, oh, hang on, here's another way of making money or being successful.
Exactly. And you know what? If you fail, it's not the end of it. If you perform bad, remark. If you fail, right. That was your wake-up call. You failed because you never listened to your mother, your father, your teacher. You just did your own thing. You cut a jaw, I'll say it. Now you realize, gosh, I need to do it. And rewrite, re-register. And there are so many people, I think next show we need to touch on this and invite them. People who are in the medicine profession, people who are educators, people who are holding positions in corporate who failed matric.
I think that's important.
Because they went and studied back, and a lot of them said they couldn't realize or learn from someone else's experience. They had to experience it themselves. You know, when it
and
happens
that's
to
so
you.
important
Yeah.
because that's also a stepping stone because you're going to fail at many things.
Exactly.
You're not going to get that job when you go for the job interview. You're not going to get the driver's license maybe the
Exactly.
first time. So failure just is part of
You
life.
know, Salma, also, I mean, you guys just say everyone who gets A's want to do engineering, medicine. Not everyone gets accepted. I know of 2 learners who were suicidal, who contacted me about 6 years ago, where the parents contacted me because they never get accepted in medicine. I think one went to China and one went the long route of studying. I think they did BSc, the long. So I think you also need to gear your child up, even if they are bright and even if they, yeah, because if you don't get accepted,
that's another feeling in itself, and that's not in your hands at all.
And also, among our communities, if father's a doctor, grandfather's a doctor, you have to become a doctor.
Automatically.
And parents get depressed if the child says, I want to take up fine arts, I want to do some online thing.
Like I wish that would become more of an accepted thing nowadays. And I really want that. I think Kelly does an amazing show on Saturdays where she's trying to also show the different careers. Like I wish we had more Muslim politicians or political science students here in South Africa. And at a time like this, we need that. We need more AI techno guys that are into that industry. We need more journalists, Muslim journalists that are representing. We want to see Muslim representation on E-News and on TV channels in the morning.
Exactly.
You want to see a woman in a headscarf sitting there.
You can count.
Yeah.
Worldwide, globally.
Yeah.
The Muslim politician or someone sitting in parliament, you can actually count them. How? By wearing a hijab.
But I think in South Africa that needs to be encouraged, and I'm hopeful that as time progresses as well, we embrace that. We embrace a change, and we embrace different ways of thinking as well. We had a few voice note messages that you had, and I want to just play like maybe 2 or 3. Let's see what we have time for. Ted, work with me here, right? So let's just listen to the first one. These are well wishes for the matriculants of 2024.
To all the matriculants of 2024, congratulations on getting yourself this far. Your future is now in your hands. All the best in the examination. Stay focused, work consistently, and believe that you are destined for great success. This comes to you from Geeta Pandey, online tutor and national moderator.
I'd like to take this opportunity to wish each and every matriculant everything of the best for the 2024 examinations. This is a culmination of your efforts from grade 1 up until now. The fact that you have come this far is a testimony to your ability and to the effort that you have made. Let's also take this opportunity to thank your educators and your parents for their supportive role. We are confident that you will do well and that the molding that you have gone throughout these years to get onto this stage will most certainly result in you being leaders, not only of tomorrow, but leaders of today. This is Khalid Sayed, member of the Western Cape Provincial Legislature and leader of the opposition in the legislature.
I am Imtiaz Saib, the Executive Head of Orient Islamic School. I want to take this opportunity of wishing all matriculants everything of the best in the forthcoming examination. I'm confident that each one of you are deep sea divers and not shallow water swimmers, to sow success to one and all.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. 2024. Matric student, all the best for your future. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you all whatever you guys deserve the best. And inshallah, Laziz, whatever your parents deserve for you guys. All the best. This is Honey from Copper Chimney. Again, just do the best. Inshallah, future is ahead for you all. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. How cute is that? Exactly. In wrapping up for us, sir, I'm just going to thank the students for spending their afternoon with us, and to Brother Abu as well that we spoke to online also for sharing your beautiful words with us as well, to the wonderful listeners. Ted as well for your patience as always. Sumaya Khan, thank you so much. It was amazing doing this with you, and I wish we had more time. We could have spoken so much. There's so much
show.
I literally sent a message
And you know what?
saying we need 3 hours for this.
Our voice it can go on. We won't get tired. Well, Jazakallah for having me and love the show.
I can see the passion that you have for it, and we wish School Matters all the best, all the strength for the next few weeks. You've got an important role to play because that show is what's needed, and perhaps maybe at other times of the day we could have and hear more of you as well, especially to all the matrics of 2024. For what it's worth, we wish you well and all the best and all the strength to the parents as well. Set clear goals, strong work ethic, consistency, discipline, willingness to sacrifice, continuous pursuit of knowledge, the ability to listen, I will never quit attitude, clear purpose in life, and not afraid to take risks. The world is your oyster. So just make it happen. And I just want to, on a personal note, I must thank everybody that I've worked with for the past 2 weeks in the afternoons, Tobeka, Sboniso, Ted as well, for your assistance with me and my children that have been coming in every afternoon, to Muhammad Ayaz Kareem, Faisal Suleiman, I must thank you guys as well, and to the sales team and everybody else that helped as well during the social network for the past 2 weeks. Zahir Basa returns from Monday. So with lots of love, I'll speak to you in my usual time slot, Sunday mornings between 10 and 12. With lots of love, all the best to the matrics in class of 2024. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
This Adhan is sponsored for the Isale Sawab of Marhum Muhammad Farooq Latib and